leave relationships and do what's in the best interest of their children. When men leave relationships for these same reasons, people always say those kids still need their mama. I never hear anybody say them kids don't need their mama. Even when women be alcoholics and on drugs, people like, yeah, she just needs some help, but them kids still need their mama. But that's not the sentiment when it's about a dad. But we always say when kids don't man up or pan out to be something, we blame the fathers. No matter what the outcome was of the relationship, no matter why the transgressions came about, we blame the father and say those kids need a father. But when kids turn out to be something great, women always get the credit.
Facts. And we have seen that with either kids who are going to the NBA or kids who go to the NFL. Usually, when they get drafted, the first thing they say on the microphone, shout out to my mama for raising me, for being there for me, even if the whole time the dad was paying child support and taking him out on weekends and stuff like that. Sometimes, for the most part, the dad doesn't even get to stand there with them with the son. Usually the son give all the credit to the mom. And I'm guilty of it as well. Usually if I see a bad kid, I'm like, where's the father? But the mom is right there. I could have easily said, Mama, you're doing a bad job. I always also go, where's the father? So he's right. When things go right, we praise the moms. When things go wrong, we attack the dad.
We talk about how women were so strong and independent and raised these children up to be blah, 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 in spite of the circumstances. And it's like, no, I think we need to reverse that thinking. We need to give the women credit when the kids do well, and we need to blame the women when the kids do bad. Now, we can blame them and still listen and be empathetic and say, listen, I understand that these kids didn't necessarily turn out great. Do you think there's anything you could have done? Like, is it anything glaring that's like, yo, I should have, this is something I just completely ignored. If you did the best you could and you honestly tried everything you can, some kids just turn out bad. Some kids are just sour apples. They're just gonna be that way. But we can't, we have to take our focus off of the absentee parent and we have to start with the person who's there. Now, if we can honestly say this person put up a valiant effort to do everything right, and those kids still turned out bad, understand sometimes kids just turn out bad. So every time a kid turn out bad, it ain't the parents' fault, but we have to start there.
You can't blame nobody's perfect. So the parent that's left raising the parent is going to make mistakes, and the child is going to notice those mistakes and going to point the finger at that parent. So so to sit here and say, "Oh, you're to blame," like nobody's perfect. My mom yelled at me a lot. My mom hit me with a switch a lot. So it's to say, "Oh, I'm a blame her." It comes a point as adults we got to grow up and take responsibility for our own actions. And if you have a child out here and it's one parent in the household and you only get your child every other weekend, one weekend a month, you are to blame as well.
No, because in most instances, when the dad is only allowed to see the kid every other weekend, that's because usually women want to take all the visitation hours away from the dad so they can get more child support. And then the dad has to fight in court to get more time to see his own kids. He has to pay the lawyers, he has to fight in the court system just to see his own kids and have to pay money to see his own kids. So no, you cannot blame the dad who's still fighting to see the kids. Whoever takes the majority of the time has more influence in the kid's life. Usually it's the mom.
Everybody need to take their own accountability. I see a lot of men worried about what mothers do. Aisha was talking about her ex-husband and she left him for substance abuse. And then we got on motherhood again to blame mothers. It's ridiculous. Y'all need to take some accountability. I have yet to hear any man take accountability for anything they've done or for anything that the Black man is doing in our community.
I think to your point, Will, I think as women, Like the more I'm sitting back and the more I'm like, the more I'm sitting back and watching, it's like I'll yield to that. I'll concede to that. A lot of times it do be like that. Like men don't get the same understanding that women get.
Finally, at least a woman recognizes that men are always attacked when something goes wrong with the kids. Finally, thank God.
They just don't, and I think that's part of the problem. It's like when Black women are just more harsher on men than they are on women. So
Facts.
it's real hard. It's real hard. I don't know why it's so hard for us to see y'all as like as people who need that. Maybe because like they were saying earlier, like men don't ask for help when they need help. So we look at y'all like y'all don't need help. So I think maybe that's why y'all not getting it, because
I think what
There are two reasons men don't ask for help. Number one, because if a man is vulnerable enough to ask for help, they look at him as weak. And especially if he's getting help from women, they're going to look at him as weak. Oh, you're a man, do it on your own, blah, blah, blah. You're the provider. You can't ask me for money to do ABCD. And then number two, if a man asks for help, later on, she'll be like, oh, that's why you were broke and you had to ask me for ABCD. She's going to remind you that she helped you at one time. So most guys are like, you know what? I will struggle in peace.
what could help, Danielle, is if y'all stop viewing us as men and start viewing us as parents. Because y'all can resonate with a parent. The parent word resonates with y'all. The word man and or father does not resonate with y'all, because man is different from woman, father is different from mother, but parent is not different from parent. If you would never, you will say, as your child's parent, you need access, you need time, you need to give love, correction, direction, support. You need to do all those things. Well, why would that be different for any parent? That will be the same for all parents. And if you view the father as a parent, then you will naturally yield and give that space for that to happen. But if you view them as the father or the man, then you start throwing responsibilities on them, like, it's your job to lead, it's your job to protect. And I'm not saying those things are wrong, but those things cloud judgment. If you want to remove the scales and see clear, you have to view them as a parent. And if you view them as a parent, then your compassion will increase, your patience will increase, because you would want your child to have access to their parent.
I feel
That's facts, because we have seen it so many times, man. And this really hurts my soul. Women are like, I can't let him see my son. But he sees son too. Why are you saying you can't let him see your son? How about I can't let him see our son? But usually when they talk about their kids, they act like the kids belong to them and the man is just there because he donated sperm. That hurts my soul so bad.
like as women we have to decenter. I know I've been emotionally reactive before, but I think if we are talking about broken homes, right, the best interest of the child is like the top thing. You got to love your child more than you hate their parent on both sides. So if it serves whatever objective to have a healthy functioning relationship outside of extenuating circumstance, I support Aisha in her decision. I think she made a really good decision. I don't think it was easy for her, but I know she did what she felt was best. But to your point, if we're going to like the questions today was about accountability, like Black women can take accountability. To Aisha's point, for like holding fire under my ass and be like, sometimes people is just disingenuous and wrong. So I feel like women can be, I don't want to say nice, but they could have more kindness towards their child's parent versus like my ex-husband or my baby daddy or whatever. But like, this is my child's parent. They have to be good so that I could be good. If that makes sense. Maybe I'm not making sense, but
No, you're
it just
making sense right now.
You're definitely making sense, mama, because so many times at the end of the day, when the mom fights the dad, whether it's over child support, visitation, custody, bad mouthing the father in front of the kids, making the kids fight against the dad, at the end of the day, what we are doing when that happens is hurting the child, hurting the kids, because these kids grow up seeing these, growing up in an environment that is so toxic, and then the generational trauma and curses go on with them, because now when they grow up, they didn't see what a healthy relationship between parents looks like. Guess what? They're going to attract those kinds of people in their own lives, and it's going to go on the same way the way their parents were being toxic.
Absolutely. I think, yeah.
because I personally have a different perspective when I'm dating than like, you if you look at a man and you date and you have fun, but you're like, this isn't the father of my children. And men do that too. Like, I'm having fun, but this isn't my wife or this isn't my husband. So I think looking at it and
You know
in
what?
decentering
Was
it
it
is
you?
important.
I think I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it you to say you guys are on the line taking rubber bullets for men?
No,
That's
that wasn't me that said that. I think
oh,
women
shit.
I think women do I don't think women should be soldiers for men. I think we take that on that role thinking that that's something that men are looking for, and I
There
think
you
that's
go.
how we get out of this. I think that's where the balance off is like it sounds appealing to be like I'm right there with you on the front line, but I don't think that's what men want. It wouldn't no man would want his woman taking bullets for him.
I think. See here, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna call it a night because and I think you did a great job when you came in here resetting the room. So kudos to you, Danielle. I did not expect that out of you. So I want to
Sure
give you
thing.
your flowers. Thank you for giving me my flowers and the other gentlemen that you gave their flowers to. Huge kudos to you. Um, I think that you know, I think Darwin said it or something like communication. Communication is so poor initially when people first meet each other because people have a selfish motivation for getting to know someone. I think when men see women, they think about how fine she is, and maybe their primary objective is to have sex with her. When women see men, I don't know what y'all ladies' primary objective is, but I'm sure y'all have a primary objective.
It's the primary objective is, what is he going to do for me?
And I think if, again, we reverse things, instead of your primary objective be, I want X out of this person, if you took the mindset of, what am I willing to give this person? Is this man the kind of man that I'm willing to give everything to and submit to him and follow his lead? And if guys say to themselves, am I willing to put myself in harm's way for this woman's well-being? Am I willing to make sure I do everything in my power to give her an easier, softer life? Because we don't interact with that mentality, everything starts off on a bad foot. It's
Yeah, shout out to the panel, man. Everyone, obviously, apart from this one, was very friendly and listening to each other. Is this probably the first time on the panel I've seen all of them get along? But there's always that one special one who's always attacking everybody. And shout out to this lady because, man, there's something attractive about a woman who tries to understand where men are coming from. Now, I understand the reason for that is because it's very rare these days. Out of 1,000 women, you're gonna find like 2 women who are trying to understand men, who are trying to listen and, okay, where are you coming from? Okay, I can see what you mean when you say that fathers are needed. I can see what you mean when you say fathers shouldn't have to fight to see their own kids. That's so attractive about a woman. But I'll put the full link down below. Shout out to Lapif. This was a great conversation. What do you guys think? Comment down below.